In the last video, we clarified what Popper meant by historicism, the belief that history follows discoverable laws, that the future can be known, that political action is the implementation of destiny. But Popper did not think this idea began in the modern era. He traced it much further back, to Plato, to the idea that society has a fixed, perfect form, and that philosophers are uniquely qualified to impose it. Why Plato? For many readers, Plato is the father of philosophy, the teacher of Aristotle, the architect of Western political thought. So why did Popper call him the first great enemy of the open society? Because in Plato's Republic, Popper saw the first systematic attempt to freeze society in a permanent structure, a structure justified not by consent, but by knowledge. The theory of forms and political perfection. Plato believed that behind the visible world lies a realm of perfect forms, perfect justice, perfect beauty, perfect order. For Plato, politics was not about negotiation. It was about discovering and implementing the form and the just state. If justice has a fixed structure, then society must mirror that structure. And if someone understands that structure better than others, they are qualified to rule. Plato's solution was the philosopher-king. Rulers trained not in persuasion, but in truth. They would not govern through debate, they would govern through knowledge. For Popper, this was the decisive shift. Politics ceased to be a process of criticism and revision. It became the administration of a discovered blueprint. Once the ideal structure is known, opposition becomes ignorance, and reform becomes corruption. The freezing of history. Popper argued that Plato's ideal state was not progressive. It was static. Each class fixed in place, each function predetermined, education controlled, art censored, myths engineered for stability. The goal was not experimentation, it was preservation. In Plato's vision, change is decay, stability is virtue. And history is decline from an original perfection. This is the core of what Popper called closed society thinking. From perfection to permission. Now the connection becomes clear. If society has a perfect structure, and if some are uniquely capable of perceiving it, then coercion becomes rational. Censorship protects truth. Hierarchy protects order. Control protects justice. The same move we saw in historicism appears here. From knowledge to authority, from authority to permission. Not because rulers are evil, but because they believe they understand what society must be. Plato's city is ordered by design. Poetry is censored. Class is mythologically justified. Families are dissolved for political unity. Rulers claim knowledge of the good. And once knowledge is monopolized, criticism becomes confusion, dissent becomes ignorance, freedom becomes instability. That is the structure Popper feared. But there is another voice in this story, Socrates. Socrates claimed no final knowledge. He questioned, he refuted, he admitted ignorance. He did not construct a perfect city. He exposed false certainty. In Popper's telling, Socrates represents the open society. Plato the closed one. The tragedy is not that Plato loved order, it is that he replaced inquiry with design. What Popper defends instead. Popper did not reject Plato's intelligence. He rejected the political implications. Against the closed society, Popper defended the open society. He sided with Socrates. A society where institutions can be criticized, leaders can be removed, policies can be reversed, and no blueprint is final. The open society accepts imperfection. It accepts fallibility. It accepts that no one possesses ultimate political knowledge. Its strength is not certainty. Its strength is correction. For Popper, Plato was not just a historical figure. He was the beginning of a pattern. The belief that society has an ideal form. The belief that some are entitled to impose it. The belief that dissent threatens order. In the next video, we'll follow this pattern forward, from Plato's closed society to modern historicism, because the idea that history has a direction did not disappear. It evolved. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to continue the journey through Hayek, Popper, and the fragile architecture of freedom. And if this episode helped clarify something, leave a like.